La 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la. My name is Larry Hunt. They call me the Bucket Man, San Francisco. I'm from Lumber, Kansas. I've been doing this since I was 3 years old. I'm 58 years old now.
And how did you find your joy in bucket drumming?
Well, I started 3 years old. I'd put my dad's cans and buckets out, and I started playing.
What does that mean to you, the rhythm of change?
The rhythm of change, everything changed. Nothing stays the same. You gotta go rhythm of life.
And how important is rhythm for you?
It's a heartbeat. It keeps me alive.
I'm Winona Wells, and I'm a screenwriter. We're all humans, so we can connect to other people on a very basic level.
What would you say is the most important lesson you've learned on your journey thus far?
To put yourself out there. I started writing when I was 30. For me, it was about giving that to my children. I wanted them to see that no matter where you are, you can pursue your dreams and goals, and you can be successful in it.
Tarana Burke. I was living in Selma, Alabama, and it was started as an initiative of an organization I co-founded, Just Be Inc., and it was started to support the Black and brown girls in our program who were disclosing experiences with sexual violence. It was also started because I could not figure out why, as a community, we didn't look at sexual violence as a social justice issue.
How did you find your voice?
My voice was always there. I had people who came into my life who helped me figure out how to amplify it. And so I think I've spent the better part of my life making sure that other voices are amplified as well.
My name is Khadija Abdi. I also go by Jojo. I'm a medical interpreter and a writer. The Somali people, in essence, are very strong, very willful, and in essence, they're always building on whatever broken system they have. They manage to build on it. You know, they have really awesome telecommunication system that's, you know, even way ahead of the kind we have here. You know, we've been doing mobile money since the early 2000s. So there's a lot of, they're resilient people, in essence, is what I'm trying to say. You know, we carve a life in a very tough environment that's harsh and drought-riddled, but it's also beautiful. It's a story of struggle, but it's hopefully coming back to a story of coming together and rebuilding and recovering. At the end of it, America is it's a nation of immigrants and natives, you know, and each of us, we bring something to what it means to be American. And it's what makes us beautiful and what differentiates us from the rest of the world.
Though I was an activist in the 60s, in the civil rights revolution at the national level, I'm now living in the future that I helped to create. Those people protesting are now of every color, every ethnicity, every economic class. They're marching as Americans. It is an amazing thing to have lived through.
Because you always reinvent yourself, I never end an interview without asking you the most important lesson that you've learned on your journey thus far. So what is it today?
That's easy. There is a place on the film that the National Park Service developed where a Rosie who lives in Mossmore, and she says that period was the greatest coming together of the American people that she had ever lived through. And when the film was first released to us, I used to stand against the wall and watch the faces of the audience as she uttered those words, and I think, how can Agnes say that? She knows that isn't true. I've got to speak to that woman. And one day, after my 90th birthday, I was suddenly able to hear that was Agnes's truth, and that there were many truths, that we all create our own reality, and that there are truths that rise out of religious conviction, and they rise out of education, they rise out of life experience, that many of those truths are in conflict, but nonetheless true. And I realized that as long as there was a place on the planet where Agnes's truth and mine could coexist, that was going to be enough for me from that day forward. And for me, that's the part that I'm working at. And I get to share that insight with the 14-year-olds that come through, which I consider a real privilege. So they don't have to get to be 90 years old before they discover that. That probably is the most important lesson I've learned in the last decade.
The existence of multiple truths.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
You only live once. Yeah. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La la la